It's been a rough start, right, to the J.J. McCarthy era in Minnesota. Among the 35 quarterbacks who have started 5 games this season, McCarthy ranks last in total QBR, completion percentage, and touchdown-interception ratio. McCarthy will look to turn things around at Lambeau Field. That's a tough environment to try to turn things around. New on NFL Live, here's his head coach, Kevin O'Connell, today.
The phrase I've been using with him, we got to start seeing this cement dry on some of the things that we've really worked hard to make football habits for him from a fundamentals and technique standpoint. I think something Vikings fans can look for is, when he gets to the top of his drops, we're really trying to see if we can get him to be a little bit more in a repeatable body position. And what I mean by that is the posture of, a firm but athletic kind of lower half. We don't really like when his feet get too far outside the framework of his body. And that happened a couple times the other day that contributed to maybe some of the accuracy. His feet got a little bit wide.
Okay, so if people were watching Monday, you heard Dan say, I'm trying to figure out why he's inaccurate. And as soon as you said that, I knew you'd figure it out. Yeah. You have, so go ahead.
Yeah, and it's the cause and effect. And so the effect is missed throws that happen directly after a great throw, and you're trying to see why. So I want everyone at home to pay attention to, you're just going to see the initial part that's going to be the missed throw. See where the throw is in relation to where the receiver is. In the NFL world, that's an egregious miss. Okay, so now let's focus on JJ when he gets to that top and that body posture. Okay, so a couple things stand out to me. You heard Kevin O'Connell say his feet outside the framework of his body. So JJ's not this 6'5" guy. He's only about 6'1". His step right here on this throw is so wide, it's almost like for me in a 6'5" frame. Peyton Manning was notorious on trying to have a 6-foot step, no matter if it's a 5-yard, 15-yard, 20-yard throw. So it's really important for J.J. McCarthy. Bring that back, guys, because I want to talk about that body position for J.J. McCarthy when it comes to like that ball out of his hands throw. He's getting far too wide. All right, play it. Far too wide with his base. I think the second thing is you don't see J.J. be very much of a rotational thrower. This is going to be the ball down the sideline to Hawkinson. Another egregious miss. This is going to be the best angle for us to talk about it, okay? One, you're going to see that. Look how wide his base is. See how wide his base is now? That's because he's a linear thrower. It's almost like he's a swayer in golfing. Look at his right leg. His right leg is perfectly straight. Accuracy comes from the ground up. So because he's taking such a wide step, he's leaning so forward that his right leg is straightening. The second thing is, so often his shoulders are completely flat. You saw that first clip, that's ball down the field. This ball's a little bit dull. I need to have your left shoulder tilted up a little bit because I want to have a little air under the football. The last part is, you see consistently his back leg, when he makes the throw, it comes up like this. That tells me that you're a vertical thrower, you're not rotational. And what happens is, you'll see his left shoulder get so far flung open, he's throwing the ball like this. And so these are mechanical things that are starting from the ground. That's where the flaw is first, is they got to get his feet consistently closer together. The second thing is they got to get him to, at his hips, rotate more, because right now his legs don't rotate, his hips don't rotate, and his upper body does. So that's why you're getting these occasional kind of egregious misses. You could play it and see how his left arm flings open. See, his left shoulder is consistently behind the right shoulder rather than pointing towards his target and staying tight. And so I know it's discouraging. I understand it. Like, it's concerning. I'm a little bit more encouraged because I think those are correctable things. Yeah. I think 2 years of right leg injuries are a little bit attached to this, because I don't remember this being something coming out of school that was a high level of concern.
Funny. There were some people that thought throwing left for JJ was for whatever reason less accurate than throwing right. I think the part about JJ that's so interesting, thinking back to his Michigan days, is that unlike the 3 guys that were drafted at the very top, Caleb, Jayden, and Drake, who had to carry their respective college programs at different times during their career, JJ played for Michigan, obviously. They had an historically great defense, an unbelievable running game, and there weren't that many times where it was like thrust on his shoulders. Yeah. Put us on your shoulders, put us on your back, and carry us. And so the number of like high leverage throws where JJ's accuracy determined the fate of the game for Michigan, pretty limited. Sure. The accuracy wasn't discussed as much because there was a lot of good tape of JJ play action pass, hit a guy in rhythm. That guy has good arm strength, he has good accuracy, and his intangibles are off the chart, and it's going to be impossible for a coach to not fall in love with him. But seeing this tape and hearing you break it down made me think back to some of the throws where you're just like, for whatever reason, left is just more difficult than right. I don't know if that's common in quarterbacks or not, but for JJ, it was a talking point during that pre-draft process.
I don't think it's that common. I think the overstriding is coming, especially we've talked about it a little bit. He's trying so hard, so it's like this stride is so big because I'm trying like effort-wise to be perfect.
And it hasn't been going right too. Like he's had some egregious throws thrown to his front side.
Totally,
Like,
he had two in this game where they sailed to the right. The back leg thing for me is a big deal. I remember that being a Trey Lance thing as well. You know, coming out of school, I would never want that back leg to be straight. I'll go back to Peyton Manning was always 6-inch steps, 6-inch steps. So I think this is something that's going to be hard to fix in season. I think you can get it a little bit better.
If you watch Sam Darnold play now versus Sam Darnold early in his career, it's something similar because he's playing so within rhythm, right? To your point of like, hey, my mechanics are leading the way and they're not being reactionary to what's going on. When you watch JJ, even in that game, some of those throws are late because he's not listening to that back foot and let it go. There was a flat route that he missed. There was
he's not in position.
Interception to JJ as well. Like these are plays where you see them and you let it go, but he's waiting to see him first. Here's another one on the interception where he's like stepping up unnecessarily.
And he steps up and he's pointing to the left.
Exactly. Here's another one on the double move to where you got to let that thing go, but he's waiting too long. He's hitching, and then it's a short pass. So for JJ, I think it's a rhythm thing. The thing that you talked about in college that I've said since JJ has come into the league, he plays best when the stakes are high. And even if you look at this season,
intangibles.
He gets down to a certain point, and then you see him click. And that's what gives me encouragement to say, okay, you can fix this as long as he relies on a foundation that guides him throughout the process of the game.
Josh Allen's the poster boy for it. I mean, Josh has done with the studies, with the coaches that he's gone through, the biomechanics. I mean, Josh was a notorious overstrider and over-the-top straight line guy. JJ, he's going to need this whole offseason to just learn and muscle memory that small step. He's got to stay way more rooted in his back leg, way more, because when you're rooted in your back leg, you can become rotational. He's not rotational, he's pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like he wants to drive to the ball, almost like imagine Paul Skeens at the top of a mound. That's kind of how JJ's playing, and so I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to show you the whys that they're missing. I agree. I absolutely think mechanically it's fixable.
It's clear to see. What also was clear to see is that Dan's got some good pants on today to be doing the long strides. The pants held on. I was wondering if we were going to see a split or something.
No.
Were you sweating pre-show? No jacket today? I kind of writes and Xavier Worthy on the field. Like that to me, there's no easy button for this offense.
Here's the tough part though, and I want to hear your perspective on this, Dan. When somebody is that fast, and I don't know if you've played with anybody that runs 4.2, it's like you're letting that thing fly. So he's not even thinking like, oh, let me hit this bucket. At 4.2, it's literally putting it out there, and the receiver is like, you almost are always right in your mind as a quarterback.
We used to have that conversation about Calvin. Calvin was on the field for low 4.3s at worst. And it was, you can't out-throw him. Just throw it. At some point, you're just throwing it as far and as high as you can, and he'll track it. Now, Calvin obviously had 6'5", 240.
Right.
But I think your point of like the inability for the contested catch down there, and then to your point of maybe Patrick thinks I have to throw it as far as I can to catch it for you to catch it, and they're not connecting on it.
Something off in that timing. And by the way, they got to face the Colts. The Chiefs just 2-4 against the Colts since Andy Reid became KC's head coach in 2013, and these Colts are 8-2. All right, let's switch our attention.